You can sign it if you want to speak.
Okay, 7555. What was the name? We only have one
I think there's a couple of chairs over there. Stacked. That's right.
Yeah, they're going to auction it off. They're going to auction it off on next month if they pay.
I mean, maybe on Saturday.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. To begin, I'd like for everyone to stand for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Chief Cersei is going to lead us in prayer.
We will have to get you to bring us a meter so that we...
Thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for all the healing that you've done in our lives. They're still sick out there. Please, God, touch them. You're the great healer. God bless our country. God bless our governments. God bless our people. Protect us. Go with us. Let us have a great meeting tonight. Let everybody just do it in peace and harmony. And God will give you all the glory. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
begin, I'd like to thank Commissioner Hensley for coming to the meeting. We appreciate your support for the county and input if needed. I've had a request that before we start the public input portion that we let me kind of give a summary of what we are proposing, what's currently in place, and that way I think that'll give everybody a better idea if they want to speak. What we are proposing at this point is to have an ordinance in place that will prohibit long-term parking on East Main Street. I've been on the council 12 years. We've had meeting after meeting over parking. In fact, when I came in this evening, I was listening to a gentleman who'd walked in. It's a bookstore. He goes, "Yeah, we have this meeting about every 2 years and talk about it, and nothing really ever gets accomplished with certain things." What has been the primary focus on parking with the studies that we've done with UGA, with private parking companies, has been that East Main Street is our prime parking area. And that's where, they've always said historically, if you're going to charge, you should charge there. We've never done that. We've charged at municipal parking, and we've pushed people down that way.
Hello.
But your prime parking areas are East Main.
You're gonna have to
My
find out
proposal
from
is
people
not that we
you
have
can,
paid
but
parking
we
on
do
East
not know
Main,
which meter
but we have limited parking.
the address.
And that way, we're having a higher turnover rate where people can come in, they can shop, and then they can go. I love the train. They bring us much tourism, but there is also, we all know that they start parking, and they park there throughout the day. And that's not fair because that is your prime parking area for your businesses. So what we want to do is offer, we have parking decks now, we have private parking companies, and the city has parking available where people can pay to park and free parking. We've also established some guidelines that would allow for employee-free parking that's located throughout the entire central business district, at both ends and in the middle. So what our goal is to have limited 3-hour parking on East Main. And with that, we think that will push train traffic to the paid parking areas such as the parking garage. And Mr. Wojon, he has 2 parking areas where they could go as well. Also to municipal parking. We also want to offer areas, like I said, where employees can park. And these are going to be on a map that would show that they're centrally located for every business. And we have spaces up here, for instance, here at City Hall. They could park on the entire back side of the street and on the entire front of the street down here at Depot. And a lot of times through the week, even those spaces are not taken. On the weekends, we do not park at City Hall. Our employees don't work on the weekends, so that would always be available for employees as well. So we would have designated areas for employees. We would have designated or suggested areas for train patrons, for people who are coming in to shop, and these hours would only be between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. That way, if anyone comes in for dinner, they can stay till 11 p.m. and walk, restaurant to restaurant if they want to. So those are some of the big ideas. Now, I will tell you also there is an ordinance currently in place that says that we have actually a 2-hour limited parking on East and West Main, which has not been implemented. It's been on the books for a long time, but has never really been enforced. So that is for 2-hour limited on East and West Main. So we want to extend that to 3 hours. I think that's kind of part of the conversation. What would be better, a 2-hour or a 3-hour time period? Also included in that, we would incorporate, make sure we have enough handicap parking spaces. We've identified quite a few throughout the town. I think we probably need more towards the Mountain Street area as far as handicap parking, and that would be part of this plan as well. We're not forcing train patrons to pay to park anywhere, but what we're doing is giving we're giving them alternatives to get off of East and West Main. So that's kind of the parking plan in a nutshell. And it's really to keep people, the East Main Street area, open so that you guys can have people come and shop. And they feel like they can come in, shop, and leave. Okay? So that's what we're thinking. So at this time, I would like to see if we will have comments, and we're going to take up to 30 minutes worth of comments, 2 minutes apiece, and please give us your thoughts. This is not an answer. We're not going to be answering questions, but we're going to allow you to give your comments. And if you do come up, please give your name and your address. If you're located in downtown or whatever, and business, or if you're a resident. Okay? Who's number 1 on the list? Amy, do you have it? Michael Marchbanks. And do hold the microphone to you.
All right. Just a few things real quick.
Give your name and
Oh, I'm sorry.
also,
Yeah.
into the microphone.
Mike Marchbanks, I'm with the bookstore, 691 East Main Street. Haven't seen most of you here in 23 years. I've only been here 9, but it's all right. But I have experienced a few of these meetings as well. Just brought some notes. Not going to fillet anybody, I promise. Though I feel whatever. Metered at times and timed parking to me is relatively the same. It really tells the story of the town that cares less about the shoppers ultimately and the merchants and more about its coffers. I would just put that out there. It says you're welcome if you're only here for a short time and then we want you to leave. Have you asked other towns, another thought of mine, have you asked other towns about whether the actual cost of the meters or the timed parking offset the real cost of business lost? That is, having to shut your doors, go shuffle the car, figure out a way for product to be brought in and out, ushering maybe somebody else's truck here or there, somewhere else. Have any of the towns you've talked to determined that it wasn't worth the cost? Think of Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, Marietta, Athens, you name it. Have they regretted going this way? Did it cost their merchants a lot? And did it cost them customer base ultimately? Our customers are older. You know, you got line to line instead of a nice round circle or a square for easy access to most buildings. Some people wind up having to really do a hike. You know, they might be in walkers, they might have little ones in strollers or they're in devices. And it can make the town a little bit unnatural and unaccommodated. So, are you hiring enforcement for this? And,
Okay, your time is up.
Already, okay. Well,
Sorry.
gotcha. Okay. Can't just say new taxes, new fees, and new regulations after a pandemic really hard to swallow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Amy? Ann Wheeler?
Good evening. My name's Ann Wheeler, and I'm with Blue Ridge Antique Mall and Consignment, 931 East Main Street. And I like to hear that you guys are going to give people in town 3 hours instead of 2 if you're siding on that side. We've been in business for 6 years, and we find that patrons come to town, they park it, they shop all day, they eat lunch, and then they come back at 4 or 5 o'clock, pick up merchandise, whatever. So it's a whole town experience. It isn't just somebody coming in for a couple hours and leaving. And I just wanted to point that out to the council so you have consideration as to what kind of hour limit you're going to impose on East Main Street. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ann. Candace Youngberg?
Candy Shepard at Crawford Collections, downtown Blue Ridge, almost 9 years in August. So just some comments. One of the gentlemen said earlier, I wanted to know, is the city going to pay a person to monitor the parking all day? Because I've told my customers with the paid parking previous until this meeting, they said, how is that monitored? And I said, I'm not sure how that's monitored, because somebody can go and park and pay $10 or $20 and they're there for 2 hours, and then somebody else comes in, and so I don't know how that's going to be monitored. Also in front of my shop is all motorcycle parking. It's a constant thing all day. I have beer trucks that are there, I have food trucks that are there, I have the postal service that's there, UPS, and I finally tell my customers, if you want to come in and shop for 15 or 20 minutes, put your flashers on just like those businesses and come in. And they've started doing that, because if they're allowed to do that, then I'm telling my customers that they can do that. I'm from Woodstock, Georgia, and Fairhope. We've had no paid parking. Those are really great towns that have awesome, shopping. Another thing I just thought of, I wonder if some of the surrounding businesses downtown that are not open on the weekends, just like City Hall, and I know on the kind of the tail end of East Main, I believe it's the Trophy Center, and they do engraving and all that, and clothes and stuff. They're not open on the weekend. I was just wondering if some of the businesses might put some signage that, especially for our tourists, if they're not open on the weekend, that they could park there for free. So I want to be a part of the solution, so those are just my comments.
Thank you. Drew Dillard.
Hi, my name is Drew Dillard, and I've owned Juliana's Boutique in Blue Ridge for 8 years now. And I really didn't have a lot of notice for this meeting and just didn't have a lot of information to bring. But what is the most concerning to me is it just appears that there's too many unanswered questions from this council to go ahead and pass something without providing more information to the business owners. And I know we said we wouldn't be answering questions tonight, but I have so many that I've just written down when I got here. How do you manage parking tickets if you're going to give those tickets to people parking on East Main Street? And I think the question would be asked, if we do want high turnover with parking, why do 3 hours if the train ride is 4 hours? It's an hour there, it's 2 hours in McCaseville, and it's an hour back. So I think we talk about maybe doing a 3-hour parking. I understand that we want to have the train patrons off of the street, but 3 hours is just simply too short. It is, there's no way a customer that comes to town can shop from one end to the other in that. And I certainly understand that they can pay, but I do think you have to ask yourself, what kind of message does that send to our tourists of Blue Ridge that the cheapest parking option for them is going to be $10? And we are not Atlanta, and I know there are times that we certainly have the traffic of Atlanta or other cities, but that's just not the charm of Blue Ridge, that you would have a minimum of $10 parking, or your option is you must, only enjoy Blue Ridge for 3 hours. One thing I would ask that you propose is maybe to halt this. I think there certainly needs to be more discussion amongst business owners. I personally only know maybe one that is pleased with a 3-hour parking, and I just think that this is not a decision you should make.
Thanks, Drew. Okay, Margaret Middleton.
I may have a little bit different spin on things because I'm a resident. My husband Gene and I live on Summit Street in town. My name's Margaret Tilly Middleton. We're both natives of the area, and our roots run very deep. My grandparents came to Blue Ridge in the 1930s and bought a building on East Main Street, and my family still owns that building, built in 1900. And it's probably the oldest building on the street. I'm speaking for the citizens of Blue Ridge who pay city and county taxes and yet are often unable to park and enjoy downtown area. I've spoken before in regards to this,
And one solution given by a former councilman was to walk. We could walk from our home up on the hill, but it would not be pleasant to go out to eat or carry shopping bags up 2 large hills to down. We do walk downtown often. We're in pretty good shape, and we love to enjoy the walk, but we don't go to shops and restaurants because we can't find a parking space.
Margaret, can you speak up just a
I'm
bit?
sorry.
Yeah, I heard someone say they were having a hard time hearing
Okay,
you.
a little closer, sure. We do have to walk up 2 large hills to get home from downtown. We want to support the downtown merchants. We would love to go downtown too. I wanted to go for my birthday. Last year, couldn't go, no parking spaces. So we ended up going on the perimeter of town. That's what we usually do. We usually shop around the perimeter of town or go to restaurants in Blairsville or Belgium. It's a shame because we love downtown. We love to live here. Another suggestion was to send, okay. Anyway, I just wanted to say, I have a suggestion to give the people of Blue Ridge who pay their taxes, when we bring taxes in to pay the city.
Yes.
A sticker.
Yep.
Where we could park with the employees
Okay.
in their lots.
Actually, that is part of the plan too, so.
Oh, you
yep.
didn't know that? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, who's next? Okay, we do have time remaining for public comments. Would anyone like to come up and speak? Jennifer? Just give your name, please, and your business.
Jennifer Sullivan, I'm in the Owl's Nest, and I do live in the city as well. My concern still is the employee parking. I know y'all said that we could park here, but I'm one of the few stores that is open until 8 o'clock during the summertime. So if I have an employee 73 years old and she's gonna have to walk to her car, I don't think that's very safe. Are you gonna have lots that are well lit? I think you said the parking downtown is gonna be 8 to 5. If I have 2 employees, I guess one could stay there while the other goes and gets a car and tries to find a place to park, but it's the safety of our employees. Also, all of my employees don't come in at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe they come in at noon or 1. They're not gonna find a place to park when it's packed out, just like fire and ice. So they'll be circling around, unless you have just a ton of parking employees, but a lot of people have several employees because number one, you can't find somebody who wants to work full-time or work at all. So, you're gonna have it, I maybe have 3 employees that work on a Saturday. That's 3 parking spots that we're gonna need. So that's my biggest concern. Everything else, I guess y'all covered, but the employees and their safety and having to pay. I just work in Atlanta, I can't afford to pay for my employees to pay parking down here, if that's what it comes to. And when they do have to pay, because it's an event here for, the school's collecting money, I always pay them back, because they shouldn't have to pay out of pocket to come to work for me.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Okay, come up to the podium. Just give your name and business.
Hey, my name's Bill Oyster. We've got oyster bamboo fly rods just up the hill there. I'm also a resident here and raised my family here. And I don't know a lot about the situation. I certainly don't know what the answer is. I'm not pushing one way or the other. But I do think that it is very unhospitable towards the tourists to once again hit them with charges just to be here to start with. I think the city makes a lot of money on them, and it's good for the city. It's good for the county to have them here. And we already are paying to be in what was the free parking lot, and now is 10, 11 bucks or whatever it is. And that's if you want to walk downtown. So if you're going to park downtown, sure, you could pay to be on East Main Street if you had free parking somewhere else. But if we have no free parking anywhere, I think, the difficulty in coming downtown will just be even greater when you have to now pay to come downtown. I don't think that it will free up any more spaces. So as a moneymaker, it may be a great idea, but for the business owners, it definitely is not, and for the visitors to the area, it's definitely not. So I'm not saying it's not a good moneymaker. It may pay off, it may not. I don't know. I don't know the details of it, but as a business owner, a resident, and I would imagine for our customers, it will be viewed as a measure. That's all.
I know that she's next, then you, and then this way.
I'll be quick. I'm just hoping that,
Actually, if you will, please give your name.
sure, I'm Kathy Benson. I have the bead store across the street, think you can see it from here. Anyway, I've been here for a few years, watched the city grow, town grow, it's awesome. And one of the things I'm really hoping y'all do before you've made a decision is to really explore all the options. Maybe, some paid parking, some not paid parking. If it's the train that's an issue, and we love the train, then maybe have a parking place for the people who are riding the train and run a shuttle. I mean, there's just so many other options, it seems, that may have not been explored. Maybe they have, I don't know. Maybe you could put something together that says, hey, we looked at all of these things before you just blanket pay for parking. Because I do really think it is going to hurt the town.
And let me reiterate, there would be no paid parking on East Main. It's just timed. So, and you and Bill mentioned that, but yeah, I think you came in a little bit late, but no paid parking. It would be just timed parking,
And
limited.
And if you limit it to 2 or 3 hours, that's not enough. It's not enough to grab a bite to eat, to shop stores, to walk leisurely, hopefully, to their store or to shop. So that's just really not enough. Try it. I suggest you try it. Go have a bite to eat and try to walk the town. See if it works for you. Before you make the decision, see if it works. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm Nikki Kaler, and I own the sweet shop with Susan. I just wanted to say, I don't have any notes or anything, and I'm kind of going to mimic a lot of what everybody has said. We see a lot in our shop about how people come in, how they shop. We offer a service where they can come in, they can purchase their items, they leave it in the store since it's baked goods, and then they come back to us. We see them, and honestly, it is a lot longer than 2-3 hours. They can walk the entire town, come back, and so honestly, I'll be real honest with you, I think that there should be no time parking. I think that Blue Ridge is known for its southern hospitality. That's something that we like to tell our employees and our customers that we sell in our shop is southern hospitality. That's what we are here for. So to put time restrictions on people, make them have to stop in the middle of their shopping experience, run to their car, move their car, because if they're not done, then maybe they will, maybe they'll just leave. So we don't have that opportunity for people to get in their car, move it to another place, especially if they've got to drive around and around and around. Also, nobody has said this, but when I go on vacation to another place and I can't find parking, or I have to park outside of the area, I walk everywhere I go. So I don't know if anybody else does that, but that kind of defeats the purpose. When you find that parking spot, it's kind of like a grand gesture. Oh my gosh, God has opened up the sky. I get to park here. And then you get to shop. You get to have that parking spot. Otherwise, you don't. You get to park somewhere and walk to where you want to go. That's just my 2 cents worth.
Ms. Williams.
I'm Jane
Whaley, and I live at 531 East Main, and I'm so thankful y'all are working on this. Disclaimer is my husband usually sits in that seat, and he's not here, but
He's on the phone over there.
yeah, okay. We've had a business here for a very long time. And 2 years ago, I was saying what these people were saying, that we don't need to pay, it's inhospitable. But you know, we're continuing to grow and we have to do something. We have to do something, and it's worse than it was 2 years ago. So if the employees, I live right on Main, and early in the morning, some 8, 9 employees take up a great deal of the parking on Main Street. So if we can work that out, maybe I was thinking the city might subsidize paid parking for employees. I don't have a solution, I don't. But now that we have parking decks, it's a shame they have to pay, but that's the option that we have as we grow and more people come. Now, having a 3-hour time, I understand to have lunch and shop, please, you gotta look. But if I parked at 9 and stayed till 4, how many people aren't even gonna get to taste Blue Ridge? Because I'm parking there all day too. So I don't know the answer to that, but if people just stay there all day, then people who drive for 3 hours can't do anything. So I just hope everyone has an open mind, and we're gonna have to do something, and everybody won't be pleased, but I'm thankful you're working.
Commissioner Henson?
Hello, my name's Jamie Hensley. I call it the complaint department of Panic County, so chairman of the board of officials. We gotta have a little fun. Hey, so as you know, we purchased some property here, right behind the jail. You know, we're gonna start hopefully this year. We bought it for employee park, is what we bought it for. So we hope to, at some point this year, get started on this parking area. But I guess we would have to go with the other commissioners as well, just to find out and our county attorney to find the liabilities and things like that. But I feel that at some point, we may be able to do something at least on the weekend with that parking area. So maybe that will help alleviate some of the strain from downtown. And again, it's just right here. I don't think that's too far of a walk to go down through there and back, but it is what it is. Also, and again, this is just a little joke, but it's not. We also have almost 5 acres over off industrial that we've made somebody a really good deal in, and we'll even throw in a 35,000 square foot building if anybody wants. So,
thank you. I'm so generous.
There is some really good parking in that area, and I heard one of the ladies here talking about a shuttle. So, you know, it may be something to look at in the future as well. But that's 5 acres, that can house a lot of parking out there. So maybe the county at some point in time can help